People are always asking me why I use nutrients while growing microgreens. I thought you just needed water. Well, you might have magic water where you live, but I'm just using city tap water. Let me know down in the comments if just water works for you. For me, it works for a few plants, like peas, mung beans or bean sprouts, and sunflowers. But for most others, like my cabbage and kale, it doesn't do as good. I mean, it's possible, but I grow loads of these in soil, clay pebbles, even sand. So let's take a quick look at this, and I got a quick tip on harvesting pea shoots. Alright guys, I want to show you something really quick. No nutrients, and I want to show you the difference in this. And also, we're getting set up for winter time. Now I'm in Florida and we can grow outside almost all year long. But whenever I make a video in December, January, February, and show what I'm growing, a lot of people really say, you know, we're good for you. You know, we can't do that. So I want everyone to grow. So what we're doing is we redid our studio, and I set up this little corner, and that's a 3-foot rack, and we're going to see how much we can pack on there. This is the last of our microgreens that we've got growing right now. We're going to start from scratch. So we're going to go ahead and harvest this. We're going to talk a little bit about this, why this is so small and why this is so big. And then we're going to get this set up. We're not going to go crazy. Like I said, it's a 3-foot rack. You can use just about anything you can set microgreens on. And we're going to take some grow lights. We're not going to put a ton of them in here. We're just going to put a few because microgreens really don't need a whole lot of light, and you don't need a big bunch of expensive lights either. So we're going to see what we can get packed on there, and then as we progress, we'll get a couple more grow lights. Maybe we'll even set up one of the containers with a crack key, and then maybe we'll set up one with low aeration and see how they all do. But we're going to see how much we can grow over the winter. So let's get back to this real quick. This is pea shoots, and this was red kale. Now, I went ahead and didn't use nutrients. This is grown in just water, and I wanted to show you, if you grow pea shoots, this is awesome. No nutrients, and basically a pack about that big. So one packet like that, and you grow this many pea shoots. Now, normally I don't let it grow out this long, but I just let it keep going because I was waiting for this to catch up or to see if it would do anything. And there's a couple of decent sized microgreens in there. You can actually transfer that into a bigger container, right? But most of them are like really, really small. So you see there's just a couple big ones on top, but most of them are real small. And there's a lot of them just barely germinated. So this is in just water, no soil. And I just grew it the same way I did this. So this one is also just water, no nutrients. So if you want to grow a lot of microgreens and have a lot of greens, you either have to do this like in soil or use nutrients. Maybe use one of my adapters and grow it in sand or clay pebbles. But just on its own like this, like we grew the peas, most other plants are not doing that well. Even my radish that grows wild in the sand and in the clay pebbles and soil, when I tried it like this, I would always get mildew. So this method works good for this, for mung beans, and to some extent I've had some success with sunflowers too. But most of your other seeds, you're going to want to try something else like our adapter and sand and the clay pebbles. Now, if you let these grow out this big, this is why I like peas and this is why we grow a lot of peas. One thing, they taste delicious. People love them. And all you need is the top part like that. They're real tender. Chefs love them with the little tendrils and that. And they taste like peas. And you can let them grow like this. Other microgreens, once they get to the microgreen stage, if you don't take them out and move them into a bigger container and get them into some nutrients, they're going to end up and just be stunted in growth. Then you're going to have problems with mildew, and you'll probably have them all just kind of die off. This one keeps growing, and if you let it go too far, maybe you've got like 3 or 4 of them going at one time, or you've harvested 2, you can let it go a little bit longer, like this. I usually harvest them when they're about half that size, but if you let them grow longer, right, the stem gets woody, right? So you can just take that top little part to where the first little set of leaves comes out. It'll keep growing. You can always pinch off that top part. You can always come through and just harvest those. And even these little leaves, because it's not a big plant and these leaves haven't gotten real big yet, you can do it just like thyme and just pull those off. Get the little stringy bits off. And you can use some of the leaves. So you can come through here and start harvesting these. And I would grab these. And just use that little top part, just like that. Right? This can go in compost, or like I said, if you want to come through here and start pulling these off, you can pull off some of these leaves too. Get you a little bit more yield. And then just toss the stems in the compost. So let me go ahead and see if I can do all this at once. And you'll be able to feel on here where it's tender and where it starts to get kind of tough. So most other microgreens, if you let them go too long, they're just going to die. Now these, you've got a wonderful bunch of pea shoots, right? And we've let them grow out. So like I said, if you want to go through and pick these, you can. And let's go ahead, and you can see the roots look nice. And just like we did our other video, I'm going to cut down low here. Because these, after the roots, the pea shoots send down roots. They have a big taproot and they go out really fast. So that's where you can go through there and get you a little bit more greens if you like. And once the roots go down underneath, that's when you can start bottom watering it. You'll notice, let me see if I want drip water all over the studio. Just like our last batch, there's no mildew in there, right? Because these guys are all kind of dry. So this still has energy. This is still, you can tell it can last a little while longer. Still feeding your plant, your initial plant, to get it going. But we've kept this dry up here. Here's where all the moisture's at. And that's how you can let these go and not get any mildew in there. So that's why we love the pea so much. One little bag like this grew this much pea shoots plus extra. If you want to dig through those, or you can chop those up and try to eat them if you want. Toss that in compost. This goes into the compost. Nothing gets wasted, right? Easy as can be. Just water, no nutrients. The other microgreens, they take a little bit more care. If you want them to grow bigger than this, you're going to need a little bit of nutrients. That's why I like to use nutrients in mine to get them started. And I also like to use other methods. So most of my other stuff, I'm starting with adapters in the sand or in clay pebbles. I'm going to try some different things too. You guys give me ideas if you think we should try something different. But as far as like bean sprouts and pea shoots like this, perfect method. You don't need any nutrients and you can grow loads of food. So we're going to get started. Of course, we're going to have more pea shoots in here. We're going to have bean sprouts because you don't need light for the bean sprouts, right? So we don't have to worry about putting a ton of lights. So we might have one rack down here with some bean sprouts, pea shoots, and all our other microgreens, and we'll put maybe 1 or 2 racks with lights, and we're going to see how much we can jam pack on here. All right, stick around for that. You guys live to inspire, keep on growing, be the change. Go grow some microgreens.